Chapter 3. No one says a word about the tarot reading in the days that follow. I seem to be the only one concerned about my future. The high priest has closed the book, so to speak, on the incident. Elena has moved on to another interest, painting with watercolors. The house is filling up with portraits of me. Maybe the artist in Elena is drawn to my shiny silver coat, lapis blue eyes, and full-figured feline form. Or am I the only model she has because the high priest is too impatient and the pharaoh moves continuously? Not that I have much else to do, but I'm bored with posing hour after hour. One day a reprieve comes in the form of a letter. Elena and I are in the den. I've just taken my pose, and she's just sat down and lifted her brush in the air when our cozy little world is disrupted by the loud ring of the doorbell. Quickly getting up to answer the door, Elena bumps into the small table by her side. The two chalice-shaped glasses filled with water, which she keeps on top, one to wet her brushes, the other to clean them, topple over. "Darn it!" she says, dropping her brush and straightening the half-empty glasses. Then she shouts, "Gato Harmon, answer the door!" It's about time the ne'er-do-well is asked to do something. Elena is wiping the water from the table with some tissues when the high priest enters the den and presents her with an envelope. "Express mail from England," he says. Elena dries her hands on her artist's apron and takes the envelope from him. She studies it before opening it, as if trying to tell what's inside. "Open it already!" She slides the handle of a paintbrush under the flap of the envelope, tears it open, then takes a letter out and reads it silently. She becomes so excited her hand trembles as she puts the letter down. "What does it say?" the high priest and I ask in unison. "It's from a lady who lives in Bath," Elena replies. "She's interested in Egyptology and has read my article in Egyptian Antiquities. She's so impressed by my writing and expertise that she'd like me to write her biography. She spent much of her childhood in Egypt and has many interesting anecdotes to relate." "Very flattering," the high priest says, "and it sounds like an interesting project." "There's more. She's offering me an advance of £5,000 against 50% of all royalties, and she wants me to stay in her home in Bath while I write her biography. She says if I have a family, they're invited as well, all expenses paid. What do you think, Gato Harmon? Do you think I should accept the offer?" "Of course." "It's so tempting, especially since some of my best memories are of that beautiful city. I spent an entire summer in Bath when I was a child. My mother and I stayed there while my father was in London working on an archaeological project for the British Museum. He would come and visit on the weekends." "Even more reason to accept." "But I won't go without my family." "I would love to accompany you, Elena." "Is anybody going to ask me?" I say. "I didn't ask you, Puss in Boat, because I know you'd want to go, if only out of curiosity." She reads me like a book. "But how can we all travel to England? You, Gato Harmon, have no documents. As far as the world is concerned, you don't exist." The non-existence of the high priest is an appealing concept. I try to interrupt her. "I'd like to say something." But she ignores me and continues. "There's nothing to discuss. I've made my decision. If we can't all go, I won't go." I can't stand this nonsense any longer. Am I the only one who's thinking in this crazy household? Obviously, you've forgotten we have the magic boat. Elena and the high priest look at me in awe. "My hero," she says. "I'd forgotten about the boat." "I as well," he admits. I do wonder about these two. How could they have forgotten about the boat? It's been standing in the middle of the library since our return from Egypt. Elena covered it with white sheets to protect it from dust. It looks like a large mummy. "Do you think it can take us to England?" she asks, looking at the high priest. "I don't know. We can try, but I would never put you and Alexander in danger. I want you two to go by plane. Rapa Harmon and I will go on the boat." Why is it all right for me to be in danger? But if it means not having to spend countless hours posing for Elena, I'm willing to take the risk. Anyway, I'm ready for some adventure. "I hate to admit it, but you're right," she says. "Alexander and I will fly." "But there is another problem which needs to be addressed." the High Priest says. What?
The boat cannot appear in the middle of Bath. Do you remember the city well enough to tell us of a safe place?
Yes and no.
Which is it?
The High Priest and I ask in unison. What I'm trying to say is, it's been almost 30 years, and I'm not sure I can rely on my childhood memories.
Then you will need to arrive in Bath first,
the High Priest says.
You can reconnoiter a bit, and then let us know where we can appear safely.
You're right, Gato Hammon. I should go first and find a safe place for the boat to materialize.
So it is settled?
Yes. Finally, I say to myself. It's only hours later that the nickel drops. The tarot card reading predicted a journey. Coincidence? I hope so. I don't relish the thought of coming face to face with an evil force. But when I ask the High Priest for some reassurance on the matter, his comments are the opposite of reassuring.
There is no such thing as coincidence. What the cards have foretold has begun to unfold.